Satya, mind, body, spirit, health, and healing.
Fear is the only issue, and it became apparent for all of us in our group that we'd spent our whole life in a reactive dance of fear. And when we examined that, we realized that very often the thing we were frightened of wasn't nearly as frightening as the fear, and that it became the fear of the fear of the fear. And we wanted to try to understand what the fear is, what the thing is that we're so frightened of, and whether that energy is something that we can transform. Is it our friend? Is it our foe?
What do you suppose you might think about once you are no longer spending all of your time dwelling on your pain? I'll tell you. You are very likely going to start thinking about how to go about saving your own life. You know, casting off the shackles, breaking out of the chains, no longer to merely be a cog in the machine, a slave to the system, serving someone else's dreams day in and day out. Healing is about far more than overcoming chronic pain and illness. Actually, those things are byproducts of aligning your life with what is true, finding real purpose, and becoming authentic. Once I was no longer mired in a hellish feedback loop of pain, repeatedly searching for answers in all the wrong places, I found that I had a whole lot of time to think about my life and how I might save it. Between chronic pain and a socially acceptable drinking obsession, I was pretty well distracted at all times. You add in women, TV, a phone, Amazon, legalized marijuana, and internet porn, and you are left with very little time for any life-saving to occur. As the dominoes began to fall, and the number of things I could successfully use to distract myself steadily dwindled, saving my own life became priority numero uno. I realized that I was done being the servant of a crooked system and the victim of my own emotional addictions. Anyone who has had their world shattered and embarked on such a journey knows that this is no small undertaking. To be honest, it is downright terrifying at times. It requires strength, courage, and the enduring of seemingly endless amounts of pain. Yes, this is a painful process. For what may be the first time in history, we have both the mystical and spiritual explanation for this, as well as the scientific. As someone who would prefer not to experience pain and suffering without some sort of purpose, and who seeks out answers like a junkie seeks out their next hit, I have been able to reach some relative conclusions that have allowed me to drastically alter my perspective on the pain I experience. This perspective shift makes the pain at very least bearable, and at very most rewarding. Having an understanding of why the pain has made all the difference. There are many wise people who have helped me to reach this understanding, but for this piece of writing I am going to focus on just two, Steve Ozenage and Dr. Joe Dispenza. There are two primary facets that I will focus on in order to help you understand why increased pain and symptoms will likely present themselves as you work to save your own life. One is the increased arising of fear and other fear-based emotions, such as shame, guilt, grief, apathy, and anger, and our deep-seated inner resistance to simply allowing this process to unfold naturally, as it will. And 2 is the physical withdrawal from emotional addictions as we begin transcending them. I will mention this now and repeat it towards the end of this writing because it is so crucial to keep in mind. The increase in pain and other unpleasant symptoms is temporary, provided you don't immediately go running off to the nearest Doc in the Box, or, worse yet, Google it. Be advised, pain may worsen during various healing stages, for no obvious reason. As the emotion rises to the surface, and it will if you're healing, the pain must increase in order to prevent the expression or recognition of the unwanted. Steve Ozenage. What if I had had the belief that everything I physically experience has only physical origins, and therefore has no connection to what I am experiencing internally, on a psychological, emotional, and spiritual level? In our current age, where every imaginable symptom is offhandedly attributed to whatever diagnosis happens to currently be in vogue, God only knows what sort of dire prognosis I would have been flippantly handed by a medical professional. This is where you begin to see how profoundly life-altering learning about the mind-body connection can be. Having this understanding deprives the physical condition of its ability to cause unwarranted fear. We now know that it is only temporary, and can allow it and surrender, conscious of the fact that it is on its way out anyways. It is a complete paradigm shift that has implications for everything, from the way we interpret our lives to the decisions we will make. It drastically alters our course of action, from one that is disempowered to one that is empowered. We are no longer the victims of a cruel and random set of events, but the authors of our own story. Why do you want to shut out of your life any uneasiness, any misery, any depression, since after all you don't know what work these conditions are doing inside you? Why do you want to persecute yourself with the question of where all this is coming from and where it is going, since you know, after all, that you are in the midst of transitions and you wish for nothing so much as to change? If there is anything unhealthy in your reactions, just bear in mind that sickness is the means by which an organism frees itself from what is alien. So, one must simply help it to be sick, to have its whole sickness and to break out with it, since that is the way it gets better. Rainier Maria Rilke.